If you appreciate my efforts, then subscribe my channel, and for video notification please click the bell icon.
Hello, namaste. How are you all today? Failure is a mother of success. Today in this video I want to talk about failure. Why? Because every day I get so many messages and comments that tells me that however they practice, how much effort they are putting into their work, even though they are not achieving the desired output, desired result from their work. In between the design, they are getting stuck, they are confused, the design they are planning is not actually coming out in the final result, and they are not happy with their improvement, with their art, and etc. etc. So failure is a mother of success. If you learn lesson from your failure and correct your mistakes in every attempt you do to achieve perfection, only then failure is a mother of success. Otherwise, if you don't correct your mistakes and you get disappointed or depressed with your mistakes, then you are going into wrong direction. Then definitely one day you will give up with your art. That's why today I decided I must talk about this particular topic, because today's this particular design is a failure for me. The design I planned, I envisioned, and I wanted to do actually did not happen, and something happened was not I was not happy with the result, the end result. So that's why in my eyes this today's particular demonstration design is a failure. But instead of feeling depressed and disappointed, I noted down the mistake happened on this particular day and during this particular design. So I want to talk about this. I want to share this entire experience and what lesson I learned from this entire experience with all of you, so you all also understand that it happens with everyone, not only artists but everyone. Like sometimes few factors work against you, and during those environment when all the factors are working against you, it's opposite your strength in that particular time frame. Even though the thing you are trying to attempt you have done hundreds of time, does not give you the result you are actually expecting, and you feel disappointed. Even though you are like master, like very good cook, but sometimes it happens that the dish you are preparing, that dish you have cooked so many times, and the day you wish that dish come out perfectly delicious, but it does not happen. It's very natural, and it happens with so many artists also, that there are so many creations are like just garbage in their eyes. So yes, it happens with all of you and all of us. So don't feel disappointed and don't feel depressed, especially because it used to happen with me in past that many times the design I want to create I couldn't, and at the end of the day I feel like a failure, and so many times I have felt disheartened and I gave up my art completely. It had happened so many times, and I might have shared this with all of you. But then I actually studied many artists' life, many people's life, the successful people's life, and the one thing was very clear, that they have took note from their failure, corrected their mistake, and with new energy, with new anticipation, with new ambition, they have started all over again, and that was the key of their success. Now let's talk about why this design was failure for me. Because this demonstration we recorded the day before I was supposed to leave from India. Last week I went to India, and we were supposed to do this entire session during afternoon, but somehow some emergency occurred and it delayed till night. So obviously I was very tired, plus my bhabhi whose hand I was applying this mehndi also, she was also very tired, but she wanted to do this and I also wanted to do this design. So yes, we started very late, we were very tired, her child was ready to go to bed and he was also constantly calling, what time are you going to finish? So someone like me who is very punctual with time, this is completely wrong beginning, because time is one factor that always stress me out. If I have to reach somewhere and someone gives me time, it's really very anxious moments for me, because I have to reach that particular place on the time. If I am late, I become very anxious, very restless, and I am actually working on my this weakness, that it's okay, it's better to be late than never. So I am working on my that weakness, and yes, because for me time commitment is above everything. So I have to finish my work within the given like limited time. So if somebody start pressing, will you please hurry up, will you please hurry up, so that actually put me in a very difficult situation. Luckily my bhabhi was not putting me in that particular situation, but somehow subconsciously it has affected me that it is late and they have to go to bed and blah blah blah. So anyways, the beginning was very wrong for me. Then what happened? The paste I made was very watery. It has more water, plus it has a more sugar than it was required. So what it was doing? It was actually melting paste. The design we were drawing, we can see it was melting because of excess sugar. The tool you are reliable, you are dependent on, it's not in your favor. So that is also completely wrong factor for mehndi artists. If your henna paste is very watery, very runny, and it's melting, so that will put you in immediately in a very difficult situation. Then second wrong thing happened, that the cone I made, I use a pin, the pearl pin I use. Usually I always make my cone and I judge the cone tip, the cone hole, and I just roll the cone. I don't use pins, because pins are a little bit thicker and they always give larger hole than my liking. So but this cone I actually made during my previous India trip, and for some experiments, so that's why I use pins. So I use the same cones because I was not carrying my supply with me during this visit. So anyway, I use those cones. So you can understand, one thing, your paste is very watery, runny, and plus you have very big tip. So already you are getting very thick lines. So that is also going against me. That factor was also working against me. So when things start working against you, and the another thing, we were recording this entire demonstration, and because of night we had to turn on lights, and we were unable to position camera where we get perfect recording. Because of light, it was giving us shadow, and it was definitely getting difficult for my bhabhi to hold camera and record with one hand while I was applying mehndi on her hand. And the because of shadow, the angle of camera was also messing up, so I had to manage the recording part while she was holding the camera. So for me, concentrating on recording and concentrating on applying mehndi was challenging. So that was also like working against me. So when situation like this happen and you are in a very tight corner, you are facing difficult situation, then you definitely goes into your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind takes you to your comfort zone. Like comfort zone means you start doing things that is comfortable with you. So in this situation, I started drawing mehndi. I started drawing elements. With them I was comfortable, and that's the beginning of this peacock. This particular peacock was not part of my planned design, because I have overused this particular element. I drew this peacock so many times that now I am actually fed up with this particular element, and I have actually, after this, I promised myself that at least 2-3 years I am not going to use this particular peacock element unless my client asks me to draw that. So yes, this peacock came out. And when I realized that paste is also melting, I was actually very restless. Then after this peacock, I wanted to do some intricate border element, but because once I finished peacock element, I realized the paste was runny and melting, and in that restlessness I drew border, but I ended up doing checks. Now this checks was supposed to be diamond shaped, but I drew in a square, and that's why the measurement mistake. Now when you realize that things are going out of your hand, you become more anxious, and that's the point you start making more mistake, and that's why the mistake number 3, the wine checks I did. Now those wine checks, I wanted to do some other element in between the checks, that's why I make them little bit bigger than they are supposed to be. Then suddenly I realized that the position of that wine checks is wrong. It's near wrist, and our wrist, that particular area is very very challenging. You might have experienced that whatever element you draw, many times you end up smudging those particular element. Why? Because you move your wrist. The person who is having henna done, they always keep moving their wrist because they are feeling very tightness in their muscles or whatever the reason, and that's why that particular area is always very challenging. My my paste was runny. That particular position I selected for this wine checks was wrong, and that's why I decided, no, I can't put any other element in between the checks, otherwise the design, that complete design, will be messed. So I had to left it like empty. Luckily by then my brother had finished his work and we requested him to record for us, and yeah, that was actually the good thing happened. And by that moment actually I got hold of myself that no, I have to salvage this particular situation. The half design has been like completely messed up, but I have to salvage situation in palm. And because now my brother was taking care of recording, I could at least concentrate on palm design. And the palm design was like, I can say, okay, I managed the situation like little bit in my control. So it could have been completely messed up design, but due to my control over myself and I put more effort during the palm design, we salvaged the situation. Now my brother started showing his videographer ability, and that's why he was playing around with camera, zooming in and zooming out, and he was like, okay, I'm trying to adjust camera properly and this and that. We told him so many times that please keep camera focus nicely, don't do this, but he was like overactive with this entire thing, and look what he did. towards the end. He covered me also. Actually, he was teasing me that, see, this is the artist. I wanted to take a original voice, but the background has some songs playing on, so it is giving us problems. So I had to remove the entire voiceover, his voice. It was otherwise it was very funny. So, in short, back to the point. For me, my this design was failure, but I was not disappointed or disheartened, at least this time, and I wanted to share this design with all of you, so you all will also understand that it happens with everyone. Don't feel disappointed, keep working and keep correcting your mistake every time. So whatever mistake happened with me during this entire process, I will always keep in mind, so next time it won't happen. So if the moment I realize that my paste is watery or runny, I will definitely shift the entire paste to the new cone that has a very finer tip, so at least I get very fine lines, and due to that my Mehndi design won't melt the way it was melting in this particular session. So I'm sharing this with all of you, so you all understand that it happens with everyone. If you have your experiences, do share with us, because in that way I will also come to know, and the people who are reading your comment, they will also understand it's okay, it happens with everyone, they are not alone. And when we understand we are not alone in any journey, the journey become memorable, happy and very exciting. So on that note, I take your leave right now, and we will definitely meet again. See you. Bye. Take care, everyone. See you. Take care. Bye bye. Thank you.